Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, March 21. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Carl Samuda, now has oversight of the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. Prime Minister Andrew Holness told Parliament on Wednesday that this appointment is for 1 to 2 months, while the Office of the Prime Minister, OPM, reviews the operations of the Education Ministry. The ministry was placed under the temporary supervision of the OPM after Prime Minister Holness requested and received Ruel Reid's resignation from the Cabinet. The decision was in response to allegations of corruption in the public domain, which Mr. Holness said were being investigated.
It is important that the country is assured that the government is serious about dealing with issues having to do with the good governance of their affairs, allegations of corruption, malfeasance, maladministration, and that we set a standard of accountability that cannot be questioned.
Mr. Holness says the Education Ministry's permanent secretary has been instructed to give a full report of the ministry's functioning. In the meantime, he has assured that the operations of the ministry will continue unimpeded and the upcoming primary exit profile exam will also go off without a hitch. Prime Minister Holness says the void in the Senate left by Mr. Reid's resignation will be filled by Sunday. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke has announced a further reduction in ad valorem stamp duty. As he closed the budget debate in Parliament yesterday, Minister Clarke said a flat rate of $100 per document would be applied for transactions below $500,000. The previous flat rate of $5,000 will apply per document for transactions over $500,000.
We consider the reduction of distortionary transaction taxes at this time to be better for the Jamaican economy overall.
The change to ad valorem stamp duty is part of the government's $14 billion stimulus tax package that was announced by Dr. Clarke on March 7. As part of that stimulus, he says provision will be made for businesses earning less than $10 million to remain registered with the tax authorities. This became necessary as the GCT threshold was increased from $3 to $10 million, and the GCT Act requires that businesses below the threshold be deregistered.
We'll therefore reinstate the provision in the GCT Act which empowers the Commissioner to re-register an applicant under the voluntary registration regime, should that be the preference of the business. The Commissioner will retain the discretion to refuse such a registration because there are instances where this can be abused, and where there's evidence of abuse, then he would not.
The Development Bank of Jamaica, DBJ, has initiated a program to aid small, micro and startup businesses. The Boosting Innovation, Growth and Entrepreneurship Ecosystem, or the Big E project, is designed to boost entrepreneurship and economic growth in the sector. $25 million will be pumped into the project over 5 years. This will be offset by a $500,000 grant from the Inter-American Development Bank.
The support, if it's not grant, it will be equity. Mr. Speaker, these are the kinds of intervention. It's not big, but it is going to support the development of businesses at the very base of the economy, at the roots of the economy.
Jamaicans suffering from lupus will soon be able to access their medication at a cheaper cost. This follows government's decision to add the autoimmune disease to the list of chronic illnesses covered by the National Health Fund, NHF. The coverage comes into effect on April 30.
Lupus, for the listening public, is an autoimmune disease in which the body's immune system attacks the organs of the body. It is estimated that approximately 6,000 Jamaicans have the condition, the vast majority of which are females. The annual cost of the coverage is estimated to be 340 million Jamaican dollars.
The NHF is in its 15th year of operation and has provided $30 billion in pharmaceutical subsidies to cardholders living with 16 chronic illnesses. The Office of the Prime Minister will begin accepting applications for the second cohort of the Jamaica House Fellowship Program on March 26. The first cohort served for 2 years, starting in March 2017. The full-time paid Jamaica House Fellows served in a number of public sector offices, including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Economic Growth Council, HOPE, and the National Identification System, NIDS.
I'm sure we will be getting a few permanent secretaries, director generals, and chief technical officers from this program. Some have already found the position. The second cohort is expected to have an even richer experience as we learn from the first iteration and make improvements to the program.
And finally, $3.5 million has been donated by the Sport Ministry to the Jamaican netball team for their participation in the upcoming Netball World Cup in Liverpool. The allocation is being provided through the Sports Development Foundation. Portfolio Minister Olivia Grange says it is to assist the team with accommodation and equalization expenses.
I'm really happy that this year is historic in that our two team sports where we have girls who are actively participating, they both have qualified, both teams have qualified for the World Cup and will be going forward this year, and we're looking for great results. And it's really my greatest pleasure to make sure that they are given all the support.
The Sunshine Girls, who are ranked 3rd in the world, have qualified for the World Cup every year since 2015. This year's Netball World Cup will run from July 12 to 21 in Liverpool, where 16 teams from across the world will be competing. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.